Coronation Street actress Olivia Frances Brown has shared insight into her character Jodie Ramsey's mindset as she takes her long-lost half-sister Shona Platt out for an evening. She encourages Shona to drink excessively, all in an attempt to create tension between her and David. Jodie made her debut on the ITV soap last month during the Corrie crossover, and since then she has been trying to disrupt Shona's life upon arriving in Weatherfield. While her relatives remain unaware of her true motives, viewers are quickly noticing her scheming nature. Brown explained that Jodie's latest action is designed to spark conflict in Shona and David's relationship, driven by her deep-rooted need to feel adored. She wants to sideline Shona temporarily so she can take her place, said the actress. There's a scene where Shona is asleep and Jodie watches a movie with David. She craves the closeness and affirmation that Shona experiences every day. Jodie's sense of inadequacy fuels her complete bitterness toward her sister, a feeling originating from a childhood where she believed Shona left her in pursuit of a better life. Seeing Shona with the home, the husband, and the family, everything Jodie ever longed for, is tough for her, Brown added. She holds Shona responsible for not having those things herself. Although Jodie hasn't exactly shown her best traits yet, Brown admitted she's thoroughly enjoying her role on the soap. I totally get why actors stay here for years. It's such a fantastic environment. It's far more engaging than portraying a one-dimensional role. Jodie has multiple layers and facets to her character, which makes every script exciting because I never know what surprises each episode will bring. Coronation Street confirms who will bring Jodie to justice, and it won't be her sister. Jodie Ramsey left the local detective feeling uneasy in tonight's episode, and crossing a law enforcement officer is never a good idea, especially when plotting something underhanded. Nevertheless, it appears Jodie thrives on risk, and tonight she walked straight into trouble when she volunteered to look after Connie for Carla Connor. With both Carla and the detective busy at work, Carla wasn't sure who could watch over her niece, until Jodie stepped in offering her services for a few hours. After assuring Carla she had proper clearance and previous childcare experience, Jodie was entrusted with the responsibility. When the detective returned home later, she was taken aback to find Jodie in the kitchen, helping herself to drinks and snacks. As Jodie explained her presence, the detective's expression clearly showed she wasn't impressed. Carla soon came back, and the detective voiced her worries, insisting Carla double-check references before letting anyone else care for Connie. With Carla agreeing, could this mark the start of Jodie's unraveling? Might the detective dig deeper into Jodie's past and uncover something troubling? The actress behind Jodie has hinted that her connection to a figure from Emmerdale will be revealed very soon, but it could be the detective who uncovers the secret. And considering Kit Green was the one to track Jodie down after she escaped from Graham's van in the crossover episode, he might play a role in helping the detective piece everything together. Jodie doesn't react well to being challenged, having interfered in multiple neighbors' lives over minor slights. Could the detective become Jodie's next target, or will she stop her schemes before Jodie has a chance to strike? All Coronation Street spoilers for next week, as a legend makes their return to the cobbles. Ben is left completely shaken when he confronts his mother about her recent behavior, but he's entirely unready for the shocking truth she reveals. Declaring he wants nothing to do with her, could the relationship between mother and son ever be repaired? Sam Blakeman has been left psychologically scarred after enduring torment from Megan Walsh, and despite support from his father and stepmothers, he remains convinced that Will Driscoll is still targeting him. Clearly affected by his past experiences, just how deep are the wounds Megan has caused Sam? Debbie Webster is finally freed, and her arrival back on the street is unusually celebrated by her son Carl. Though an uneasy truce seems to form between Carl and Debbie's husband Ronnie, does Carl genuinely have his mother's best interests at heart? Meanwhile, desperate to protect Todd Grimshaw from Theo Silverton's abuse, Sarah Platt calls on Danielle Silverton, but could her intervention end up making matters worse? Next week brings extra Weatherfield drama, so there's plenty to unpack. As Kevin Webster enjoys Debbie's release, his happiness turns to worry when Ronnie phones, panicked because she's gone missing. Carl finds her on the swings and is clearly relieved she's been set free. Tension escalates at the local pub when Maggie faces the wrath of both Ben and Will. As Ben suffers a dizzy spell, a frantic Maggie tries to call for help, but he demands the truth, prompting her to confess that he was the result of a one-night stand. Alan isn't his father. While she doesn't disclose that Jim McDonald is his birth father, her response to Ollie and Amy being left alone at number 1 hints at the truth. Leanne and Toya clash over Sam's therapy, and while he receives an apology from Will, it barely eases his anxiety. Despite Toya advising him to forget Megan, Sam is still full of fear and turns to Hope Dobbs for comfort. When Will appears and Hope throws harsh words his way, Sam recoils. Ronnie is horrified to discover that Carl asked Debbie for £10,000 to pay Fiona Morley and that she agreed on the condition that he works it off. Furious, Ronnie decides to confront Fiona himself. Elsewhere, Jodie Ramsey feigns illness to spend the day lounging with David Platt, while Ben struggles with Maggie's shocking revelation. Abby Webster hints to Summer Spellman that Debbie wasn't responsible for Billy Mayhew's death, and Tim Metcalf withdraws when Sally pushes him over Tricia Marlowe. Sam confronts Will about his bullying, sending him home to complain to Eva Price. A fiery argument erupts as she storms into the bistro, confronting Nick, Toya, and Leanne. Ryan Connor watches on, worried, as Mary Taylor and Tracy Barlow meet potential clients at the square, while Debbie, serving drinks, makes several inappropriate remarks. Meanwhile, Ben cuts Maggie out of his life, Tim heads to Freshco to face Tricia, and Jody bonds with David when he reveals he's taken a shiny new wheelie bin. Debbie is caught off guard when Summer asks if Carl was driving on the night of Billy's death. Trying to create distance from Summer, Debbie grabs 2 hot plates, burning her hands. Sam spots Megan and Will at the precinct and rushes home to tell Nick, Toya, and Leanne. They pass the news to Eva, but Will insists he hasn't left home all morning. Sam, overwhelmed by anxiety, retreats to the sofa. Carla Connor and Lisa celebrate Lisa's divorce, leaving Connie with Jody, while Tim confides in Steve McDonald that he doesn't know how to approach Tricia if he sees her. Debbie learns her health has worsened following recent scan results, while Ronnie confronts Carl in the cafe about his lack of concern for his mother. Carl updates Debbie at the hotel, and both are stunned when Ronnie arrives with apologies, hoping to make a fresh start. Following Nick's suggestion, a nervous Sam agrees to a pizza night with Will, though he later believes he sees him saying that no one would care if Sam lived or died. Elsewhere, a panicked Sarah searches for Todd, who isn't responding to George's messages, but they're interrupted when Theo returns. Jody admits to Gemma Winter that she's been sabotaging Mal Roper's website to get back at Bernie Winter. A terrified Sarah calls on Danielle to question her about Theo's abuse, but Todd and Theo interrupt. Later, Theo announces that his contract has been approved and they'll be moving to Belfast on Monday. Ronnie is surprised to see Carl teaching a delighted Debbie to dance after she mentions wanting lessons. On the street, Carl tells Summer that if she wants to find Billy's killer, she should stop harassing him and look closer to home. Gemma also exposes Jody's plan to Bernie when Roy Cropper informs her that Mal is returning to Inverness. Nick organizes a chess game between Sam and Roy. Coronation Street airs weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.